are back in the right room, and we're going to continue with the presentations. And coming up on stage, ladies and gentlemen, for the opening keynote, I'd like to introduce to you the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Telecommunications Chamber. He has been a PMP since 2007 and has over 25 years of project management experience. He has been a member of the Common Purpose South Africa's Africa Venture Selection Panel since 2019 till 2022, when the role was changed to Africa Advisory Panel. He is the board chairman of the Lumen Catholic Media Limited and is a non-executive board member of the Old Mutual Pensions Trust, Ghana. Prior to his appointment at the chamber, he was the managing director of Graphic Communications. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce to you our opening keynote speaker, Dr. Engineer Kenneth Ashigbey.
Thank you very much for cutting it. I was just telling the president that next time, if I'm supposed to give my profile, I would make it just one line. You know, it's difficult to be sitting and listening to things said about yourself. Thank you for the invitation to the Jollof War, but you were very strategic. You know, you did not give your verdict, because I know your verdict. If the taste palates have to decide it, it definitely has to be Ghanaian. Yes, thank you very much, and I am glad to be here. And I'm glad to be here because if I look at this chapter, the way it started and where it has come to, we need to give ourselves a really big applause for what we've been able to do. So, our president, our special guests, fellow colleagues of the noble profession of project professionals, my topic is the role of PMs, into bracket professional bodies in national transformation. I want to transform the topic slightly to the role of professional bodies in national transformation. PMI Ghana in focus. And I've changed my keynote severally. The last time I did it was yesterday, and today. I ended it at 2 a.m. That's when I transformed it again. And I went back to pick one of the articles I wrote myself when I was at Graphic, when I really got angry at myself and all of us as professionals and how far we have helped our country or failed our country. And I thought that it would make a good base for this conversation that I have to do within 45 minutes. And I have tried very much to write it, and I'll force myself to read it. Because if I allow myself to go extempore, I'm not too sure whether I would be able to meet the schedule, and I want to do this under 45 minutes. But you need to be ready for what I'm going to say. Some of them might not be too pleasant, but it's the truth. And it sits directly with what our ethics and professional conduct ask us to do. So the solutions to Ghana's problems does not lie with the politicians, but with you and I as professionals who live up to our professional standards and ethics. This is especially true for those of us who call ourselves project professionals. It is also true for all professionals who belong to professional bodies who should be guided by their ethics and professional conduct. No politician, and I repeat, no politician can do anything wrong, especially to be corrupt, without the active participation of a professional. It could be a civil servant, an accountant, a lawyer, an engineer, a surveyor, an architect, a doctor, or a project manager. and especially for projects that form a large chunk of most procurements in our country. I'm sure we have to ask ourselves, how many of our projects in Ghana are actually managed and superintended over by accredited and qualified project managers? But that's a question for another day. Also, when it comes to the media negatively, when it comes to using the media negatively, the politicians would have to get a tacit and active involvement of professionals. That is journalists, and I belong to that fraternity as well. So professional journalists have questions to answer when it comes to the responsibility of our reportage. Again, a professional body that, like the Ghana Journalists Association, were confronted with allegations and even a petition of vote buying during their elections. I still await GJ dealing conclusively with that petition. But as professional bodies, we cannot be agents of national transformation if we don't come into equity with clean hands. Yet, we are all quick to blame the politician who runs, in the case of Ghana and in many others, a 4-year cycle. And this is not to absolve politicians of a substantial part of the blame. After all, it is said that leadership is cause and everything is effect. Most politicians tend to focus on winning the next elections. But for us as professionals, our focus should be on the next generation and the sustainability of the projects that we run. But even for most politicians, when you strip them of the politics, they most likely were professionals before they became politicians. I'm sure most of them still maintain their membership of our professional bodies. How many of our professional bodies have been able to hold our members who are politicians to account for their stewardship and, most importantly, misdeeds when they happen? For us, project management professionals, how many of our colleagues are in politics? How many hold political office? Have they been guided by the PMI ethics and professional conduct? I believe, however, that professionals, and for that matter, project professionals and PMI Ghana members, have a solution to the challenges that confront us as a country. All we have to do is to apply these solutions to the letter. Are we living up to our professional ethics? If professionals, no matter our field, decide to live up to our professional ethics and then apply what we studied in school and from our CPDs to the best of our knowledge, Ghana will surely be a first world country within a very short time. The professional bodies, and you can even include student bodies like the Ghana Union of Students, have lost our space in the development construct of Ghana. In the past, we played great roles in the country's transformation, but we don't seem to see that in recent times. Most of our professional bodies have become either politically partisan or a pale shadow of themselves to the extent that they no longer are able to publicly articulate independent professional opinions on national issues. Thank God for PMI Ghana. We are one of the few professional bodies that are not tainted by partisan politics. Yes, we have politicians amongst us. We welcome all sides of the political divide to our fold. And we encourage a lot more PMIs to join politics so that we are able to transform the current leadership of our country. I salute all project professionals in any branch of government. But as an institute who take leadership, those who take leadership in our organization should not be influenced by external partisan politics. Just take your eyes round most of our, foremost professional bodies. The Bar Association, go to their congresses and see the influence that partisan politics has to play. That cannot and should not be our portion. For us, PMI members, we have determined that honesty, responsibility, respect, and fairness are the values that drive ethical conduct for project management professionals. PMI's Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct applies these values to the real-life practice of project management, where the best outcome is the most ethical one. All PMI members, volunteers, certification holders, and certification applicants must comply with the code. As project professionals, have we been complying with these codes? Do we hold each other accountable to ensure that we are complying with these dictates? What support do we offer to our members who, in the course of their work, seek to comply strictly to the PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct, but come across major challenges and might be victimized? Do we have a system that comes to their aid? This is the only way in which we can guarantee honesty, responsibility, respect, and fairness in the affairs of our country, Ghana. Tell me how would our country be if all projects were handled with utmost honesty? The Auditor General's report indicates that that some MDAs in Ghana have not sufficiently utilized and accounted for almost 2.1 billion cedis of public funds as at the end of December 2020. I didn't check the data for 2021. The categories include procurement irregularities as well as contract irregularities. However, if you go into the specifics of the report, you'll find breaches fall under corruption themes such as misapplication, misappropriation, theft, procurement infractions, etc. Were there any project professionals involved in these contracts? Were any of our members involved in this? Did they apply the dictates of honesty, responsibility, respect, and fairness? If there were any of our members involved, did they come to the attention of PMI Ghana? How then do we implement the mandatory standards of honesty? Specifically, I quote Section 5.3.2. We do not engage in dishonest behavior with the intention of personal gain or at the expense of another. This is found in our ethics. Have we been able to hold any of our members who belongs to any of these MDAs that have cost us 2.1 billion cedis? Let us bear in mind that even the aspirational standard exhorts us to be truthful. Half-truths and non-disclosures intended to mislead stakeholders are as unprofessional as affirmatively making misrepresentations. We develop credibility by providing complete and accurate information. There's the interesting thing of fearing to be tagged as professional organizations. Sometimes, too, professional bodies may be independent, but merely afraid that we will be tagged with political party leanings. What is there to be afraid of when your position is born out of honesty, responsibility, respect, and fairness? Because of these challenges, most professional bodies are unable to hold their members to account. Even where some leaders have been bold to bring ethically deviant members to book, some members will question such leaders on how they expect the punished member to survive. Survive indeed. What does PMI's Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct say? When you read under section 1.5, it says each section of the Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct include both aspirational and mandatory standards. The aspirational standards prescribe the conduct that we strive to uphold as practitioners. Although adherence to the aspirational standards are not easily measured, conducting ourselves in accordance with this is an expectation that we have of ourselves as professionals. And it's not optional. And I emphasize it's not optional. It's obligatory. It's something that we're to do. So if it's not optional, how does PMI Ghana ensure that you and I as members measure up to these aspirational standards? Again, if these are the aspirational standards and they are not optional, what about the mandatory ones? The PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Standards states in Section 1.5 inter alia that the mandatory standard establish firm requirements and in some cases limit or prohibit practitioners' behavior. Practitioners who do not conduct themselves in accordance with these standards will be subject to disciplinary procedures before the PMI Ethics Review Committee. How many of those who did not sufficiently utilize or account for this 2.1 billion, who are our members, have been found out? Not to say how many of them have we brought to the PMI Ethics Review Committee. And there are several examples of some of the breaches that have happened in our country. And how are we, as PMI Ghana, helping to bring these people to account? How are we also ensuring that our members who have actually stood the test and have suffered for holding on to what they believe is right and have been punished? What have we done in support of them? Because that then tends to be either a motivation or a demotivation to the next person to do that. Fortunately for us, when we come to our professional bodies, you might have leaders, but all they are servants. All of us are leaders once we get into this organization. So what are you doing? What am I doing? So in saying some of these things I'm doing, I'm pointing first to myself to say, what have I contributed to be able to change all of this? And the excuse. But these challenges are no excuse for the lameness of our professional bodies. We have to go back to our leadership role and drive the change that we all seek in Ghana. An example of such roles is that played by the Association of Recognized Professional Bodies of Lawyers, Teachers, Engineers, Surveyors, Nurses, and Doctors, and university students in opposition to the union government in the 1970s. As they say, Sankofa Yenchi, to words, going back to take what is right is not a sin. Most of the professionals who are the gateways to the wrong actions of politicians belong to professional bodies. Why don't the professional bodies hold our members to account? If professional bodies hold our members to account and assume a proper role, they can help to correct a lot of the wrongs and make our country, Ghana, and by extension, Africa, a better place. For instance, why should we be calling a minister when a newly constructed road develops potholes a few months after it has been inaugurated? Shouldn't the Ghana Institution of Engineering or PMI Ghana be chasing the project engineers, or better still, the project manager for the shoddy work done? According to the president of the institution, there are no bad contractors. There are only bad engineers. And as an engineer, agree with him. And I would say that there are only bad project managers when it comes to this. Who designed and gave the specification for the road? Who supervised the project? Who certified the works as complete according to specification? Definitely it was not the Roads and Highways Minister, but an engineer working with a project manager. So why will the media not call up the engineers and project managers for the project rather than the minister? Why will the professional bodies not call up their members to ask them, why did this happen? Why should we be calling out politicians when a project schedule is overly delayed, or the budget is exceeded, or the quality compromised, or the outcome itself is not impactful? Where is the project professional who was responsible for this work? The examination leakages that we now experience, even at the basics education certificate level, have the active involvement of a premier group of professionals, teachers. Where are the professional bodies of teachers? Why are they not holding their members to account? So maybe in addition to the COLA, they should also be asking themselves these questions. We hear the argument by political parties, especially the NDC and the MPP, about project costs, schedule, and sometimes scope, with one party accusing the other of inflating costs, with the accused calling the accuser political quantity surveyors. But where are the professional quantity surveyors and project managers? Why don't we hear our professional views? Why will Project Management Institute Ghana not take on these issues and give us our professional views? It is high time we as professionals were made to keep our credentials only by passing minimum tests of our professional and ethical standards. Output and impact of projects and work should be part of the criteria for renewal of our credentials. I posit that we should formalize peer reviews. Also, professional bodies, including PMI, should encourage formalization of peer reviews of the works of our members. This would also improve the performance of our professionals in our country. We give the politicians too much credit and make them easy targets and hide behind that to perpetuate wrongs. I'm calling on all professional bodies, especially PMI Ghana, to take our rightful place in the development of our nation. Support the politicians to do what is right. We are all allies in doing right and will not acquiesce to wrongdoing, as happens in most instances. Ghana will be on the road to improvement. To paraphrase Mr. Ivor Greenstreet at the Institute of Economic Affairs Encounter with Flag Bearers, he said, after all Ghanaians are either Christians or Muslims. So if we all would live according to the teachings of the Bible or the Quran, we would not need anti-corruption laws. But alas, we will not. And that is why, apart from the laws that have to be enforced, we will need professionals to be professionals and have our associations hold us to account. To quote part of the vision and purpose of the PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct, as practitioners of project management, we are committed to doing what is right and honorable. We set high standards for ourselves, and we aspire to meet these standards in all aspects of our lives, at work, at home, and in the service to our profession. PMI Ghana should have a way of measuring and monitoring this. For what you don't measure, you cannot manage, and is bound to fail. I am a perpetual optimist, so I believe there is hope for the future for our country. But we need to change the way professionals go about the business of being professionals. PMI Ghana should lead the way and would help in the transformation of Ghana, Africa, and the world. After all, God was the first PM, and we are following his footsteps. Then we should be agents of transformation. And to go back to our national anthem, God bless our homeland Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. PMIs should be bold to defend forever the cause of freedom and of rights. Fill the hearts of all PMs with true humility. Make us cherish fearless honesty and help us to resist corruption. Uphold honesty, responsibility, respect, and fairness with all our will and our might forevermore. God richly bless us all.
And ladies and gentlemen, like he said, he's going to speak to us under 45 minutes. He did that. A round of applause for Mr. Dr. Engineer Kenneth Ashigbey, our keynote speaker. All right, so we're back. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a presentation, and I'd like to call on PMI Ghana President Jumoke Lafenwa to present something special to Mr. Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashigbey. A round of applause for that one. This is a big thank you to you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the moments that we will definitely capture tomorrow evening when the Project Management Excellence Awards comes off. I keep on saying this because I just want all of you to be here tomorrow evening. You don't have to go away when the conference is over. This was specifically done for all of you to have a great evening and also to appreciate those that are doing wonderful things in the industry. All right, so we're going to have our coffee break. That is our cocktail break, let me put it that way. But before that, we're going to have a group picture, and we would have to be going through this very entrance where my hand is pointing. The gentleman is standing there in black. He will direct all of us over there, and then we'll take a group picture, and then we'll go for our cocktail section. Afterwards, we will immediately come over to register for the next section. We've got a barcode there where you register, and then you go through the system. And when you're through, you come and join us here for the next section. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the cocktail time. Let us network. There are two things I learned before coming to stand on this stage is the fact that we are here to improve personal skill sets and also to network. So let us get into the networking moment as we go on our cocktail section. Thank you all very much. Please don't forget, it's a group picture first, and then to cocktail, and then we come and register the barcode, and then we move on to the next section. God bless you all.